Let's talk about Sinners. I have two things to say about Sinners. I absolutely loved it. I think it was a really, really interesting and powerful exploration of grief and trauma and sadness, but also joy, right? There's so much history and power woven into this story, a very specific Black experience in the South, right? Like the fact that it is a very specific time period, a very specific place, gives it so much weight and power, right? It's not amorphous, it's not vague, it is very defined. And the amount of research and care that went into it, you can really tell when you watch the movie. A couple of months ago, I made a video about how vampires are the recession monster, right? Like the fact that we got this movie is a recession indicator only because there's so much about the vampire lore that aligns perfectly with like capitalism, right? This idea of like this thing coming and taking over and leaving something that sort of looks like a person that you know and sort of acts like the person but isn't really them. It's a really, really powerful metaphor for assimilation, gentrification, capitalism. Like I said, vampires are a useful metaphor for capitalism because, again, think about it. It's this idea of this thing extracting all of your natural resources, right? The way that vampires feed, the way that they sort of take over the person. There's so many little nuances, and that's why that we've seen so many examples of this, right? Like Vampires versus the Bronx is a story of gentrification. We've seen We Love the Nightlife as vampires for a metaphor for both capitalism, toxic female friendship, right? We've seen a bunch of these sapphic novels where the vampires are a metaphor for the obsession that happens when two people are like obsessed with each other. They're really, really useful. The Puritans aren't gonna like this, but I absolutely loved how the movie used sensuality and like love scenes. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about, but I can't say it. To differentiate between the characters and the brothers, right? We see that scene of Mary coming up to Stack or Smoke, whichever one, Stack, and the way that she talks to him at the train station, and you're like, oh, they're freaked out, right? Like you get such a picture of their relationship from that, and then the way that they're dancing, and then obviously after she turns, and the way that they're like hooking up, you get so much character work in that moment, right? Ryan Coogler is not afraid of sex. He's not afraid of using love scenes and sensuality to paint a portrait that you wouldn't otherwise get, right? So much of Gen Z on TikTok is often like, these scenes are pointless, these scenes are pointless, these scenes aren't pointless, right? We see this major differentiation between the two brothers, right? When Smoke or Stack is hooking up with Annie, right? We see they're very, very different characters. They're very, very different in the way that they approach these relationships, right? Their scene is very tender, it's very long, it's full of longing, it's full of yearning, it's very like, it's lusty, but not like intense and freaked out the way that Mary is. And you immediately get a sense of both their relationships to each other, their relationships to the child that they lost, the relationships that they've had and haven't had in Chicago. Like he immediately understood the point of having a love scene. And I hope that people watching this who are like, we never ever need a love scene, we never ever need sensuality in movies, understand that this is the same way that a character conversation can reveal a lot about character motivations and what they want, where they're going, how they relate to other people, what they think about themselves, what they think about the world. That's what the point of these scenes were, right? Like you immediately understand so much about both of these characters and the way that they relate to everything in their lives through their freaked out scenes. There's one line that Mary says that I have not stopped thinking about. And if you watch the movie, you know exactly what line I'm thinking of. I mean, she had a lot of crazy, crazy lines, but there's one specifically. I also absolutely loved Annie. Her character was my favorite. Like seeing a dark-skinned Black woman be so strong, the way that she used her magic to protect them up until she couldn't, obviously. But like, I'm obsessed with Hoodoo. I'm obsessed with the lore around everything that she was doing. You can tell that there was so much creative work put into fully understanding this culture and not making it something like spooky, scary to like scare us the way that the vampires were. I loved it.